I saw that interview, and I think it is obvious that Jon Stewart doesn't know that much about science, but what he was grasping at with his partial knowledge of science was the basic idea that you can have a spiritual reality that coexists with a more scientific reality. Now, the main point I wanted to discuss that nicotine brings up is this idea that that there's a very contradictory, conflicting way between religion or even spirituality and a more analytic scientific approach. And my point is that we know about brain science, right? You're a psychology student, you know there's truth to the left and right hemispheres being specialized in these strangely characteristic ways. So it's not at all surprising if we need unions of contradictory ideas because we have two brains that have very different ways of looking at reality, and those have to be collated some way, right? No matter how contradictory, we're going to have them coexist, and there has to be ways to collate them. So it's an interesting question to say, well, is it impossible? Have we developed a brain uh, a network, a diagram of a brain that just won't work because it has contradictory ideas. And I would say, of course, we can, that there is no problem, that the problem has been eliminating contradictory ideas, the ways to use two brains, to have two perspectives, to narrow in on what we think is real. Not that we don't have contradictions, but that we use contradictions to triangulate on additional information and different perspectives. So I don't think that that part of the argument that nicotine makes has really any, it doesn't have any weight. On the other hand, there is some truth to, saying something like a belief in antimatter is faith when it's obviously not. There's material arguments about that specific case. But there's still the truth that in any analytical situation, the principles you assume are unproved. Now, I don't call it faith when a scientist assumes one of these principles because they say, let's just assume the universe behaved as if this principle is true. And then they make, deductions on that conditional statement. And that's not faith. Holding something conditionally just for the sake of argument is not faith. That's in faith, they just hold the argument. So I do think is a difference, but there's also a grain of truth that leads to the fact that, yes, it is possible to integrate your spiritual and analytic sides. It is necessary, and trying to eliminate your spiritual side will never work. In that sense, the debate is false because it's a debate as if we have two competing systems and one system needs to win. No, both of the systems need to be improved. Science has gone through periods where it was exceedingly dogmatic and it had to face up to the fact that that didn't work because of the nature of science. Luckily, right now, it's on its best behavior about that. But the fact of the matter is, now it doesn't mean that the spiritual side is totally unredeemable. No, it means that it too needs to go through a wake up call and have a more healthy, organic approach to how it interacts with our lives and our bodies. And and I kind of think that's the point that Jon Stewart was getting at. So though he doesn't display a huge amount of scientific knowledge, it didn't disappoint me because I think that message is basically a good one.